Okay, so on the previous class we have discussed about CS server, okay, and we have discussed all about its theory and all. So today we have to start with the practical directly. So just let me start the lab. There's PNG. So let it be start. First we will configure today NTP. Okay, so this is guys on NTP. We have to configure one clock time zone. Then we have to configure authentication. Sorry, and after that authentication key and Cisco's key, then trusted key, NTP source, and then master. So these are the things which we have to define on NTP, and this is the NTP client. Okay, so just let it be start. Okay, 192.1.7. I hope you have covered your NTP and CCNA, like CCA and CCNP. So what exactly this, how this, okay. So let's start with this. I'm going to open the page here. Now, guys, see, first of all, how it's going to be work out. So first of all, guys, this is my NTP server. This is my sorry, not NTP, sorry, this is a CA server. There's a CA client 1 and CA client 2. So we have to establish a VPN tunnel, or like a tunnel between these two sites, and we have to download the certificates from the CA server, guys. This is the overall concept. Last time in the previous class, we have discussed what exactly the CA server, what is CA client. Okay, and today we have a LabSer concept here. So from here, we have to download the certificates and all. But before starting the configuration of CS server, we have to make sure that NTP must be configured on all the devices there. Okay, so for that, what we have to do it, we have one separate router, which I'm going to be used as an NTP server. So this is NTP server here. This is network I'm using here 15.1.1.0/24 just for NTP. So this is the router which is connected into this direction. And this interface is from the like we have to configure one IP from this network. Then this router is for again NT towards NTP. One IP from here to this and one IP to this interface. So what happened exactly here? So from here we'll get the like or these clients will these clients will be synchronized with NTP server. Guys, is this clear? The topology is clear or not? So with the help of these interfaces, they're going to be synchronized with NTP server. And after that, on these, with the help of these interfaces, they would be download the certificates from the CA servers, right? So now, so first, let me just start the device. I have just started the devices. Let me just open it one by one. CA server, client one, client two, ISP, and then rest. Okay. So meanwhile, let me just configure it. Okay, so first of all, we'll configure its a basic configuration, IP addresses and all, because we have to make sure there must be reachability. So first, let's start on the CS server. The host name, just see it. On the interface, 0/1, 0/1. IP address would be 15.1.1. Any specific IP? Okay, I'll use a .1 IP. .1 here, .2 here, and .3 here. Okay, so this is a .1. And now shut. Interface 0/2, which is towards NTP. IP address would be from 150 network. That's perfect. 150.1.1.1/24. No shut. Exit. Okay. Then IP route towards 15.1.1. Okay, see. Try to understand about the IP addresses. On this router, I'll use here .1, .1, .2, .2, .3, and .3 here. Okay, so this is from this network, 15 dots network here, and this is from 150 network here. After that, I have configured one default route because see, from here, so it would be directly connected. So their routing is not needed, right? To reach from the between the, if you have to, obviously we have to establish the communication between NTP server and the client. So here routing is not required. But if I'll talk about in the context of CA server, in between we have ISP. So what we have to do, we have to configure a routing. So that's the reason I have used default route here. Okay, so on all the devices, I'll configure the default route. So this is on this side, CA server. After that, this is a client A, client one, and this is 0/1. 0/1 is about 15.2. 0/0. This is about 150.2 here. And .10, so that would be, this is a 20. That would be 20. Okay, guys. I hope this is clear. Client 2, that is all about 30. And this is about 150.3. And this is all about 30 here. Okay, this is also clear. Now about ISP, 0 slash 0 slash 0, 15.10, 0 slash 1, which is about 20.10, and then we have next 30.10. Fine. No default route is needed. Okay. And the last is NTP server. Now, first, let me just copy and paste all this. So this is for CS server. Let me copy and let me paste on the first router. And my first router here. Configuration is ready. Then on client, copy and paste it on the client one. So the client one. Now client two. This is for the client two here. Okay. The last is ISP. All right. The last is pending, which is just an NTP. And there's the last device, which is about NTP server. Interface is about 0 slash 0 and 150.100. All clear case. Okay. So we have configured everything. So now let me try to ping to my NTP clients. And who's the client, guys? So see, in the context of NTP, this device is a server, and this is a client one, client two, and client three. I'm talking about in the context of NTP. But after that, once NTP would be synchronized, that can take up to 45 to 60 minutes. Okay. So after that, then we have to configure this device as a CA sub. Okay. After that, and this NTP was not needed. Okay. Because they would be synchronized. Okay. And after that, we have to continue with the CA server configuration. So first of all, NTP we have to make sure. But before that, I just want to verify its reachability and all. So this is my NTP server. And here I'll ping with 150.1.1.100. The first of all is self ping. That's fine. Dot one is CS server. Dot two is my client one, or you can say CS server client one, that is reachability is there, and dot three is there. There's a problem with this router. The third one. Okay, the interface is wrong. 0 slash 0. Interface 0 slash 2. Make it shut down. Interface 0 slash 0. Let's kindly mute your mic if it's not needed. Someone mic has on. So do show IP interface. Okay, 150.3. And now if you can try to ping, it's fine. Okay. So from NTP perspective, we have reachability between all the NTP servers and clients. Now let's get back to the CA server and let me just verify with my CA client 1 and 2, because in future we have to download the certificates and the reachability must be there. So right now I'll only try to ping with 20.1.1.1.2. That's fine. And after that, try to ping with 30.1.1.1.3. Happened. This is problem on this server again. Okay, 30.1 only I have configured. Interface 0/1. IP address would be 30.1. Fine. Okay. So guys, now we have proper reachability. Everything is fine. We have a reachability between this and this. And then after that, we have a reachability between NTP client and servers as well. Guys, any doubt, any questions still no? Anyone? Yes, guys. Any doubt, any questions, anyone? Till now, I have just configured normal configuration, which is the normal reachability between NTP servers, clients, and CS server and clients. Any doubt, any questions on the same? All clear? Just one or two guys are replying. What about other? I hope guys, other guys are
Yes, clear, sir. Yes.
clear. Okay. Now, so now next is we have to get into NTP server and the clients, and then we have to configure them for the NTP. Okay. So I'll just teach you about first. Let me do one thing because NTP and NTP client will take time to be synchronized. Okay. So just let me copy and paste the configuration, and after that, I'll just make you understand about this. So this is just 0/0 interface. This is my NTP server. Let me copy this configuration and just let me paste on the NTP server. After that, I'll just explain about this. NTP master done. And after that, this is 15 dot server is 15.100. It's fine. And now this is copy and let me paste on the client. And who are the clients? Except this device, all the like and ISPs were not for. This is not needed now. Other devices are like as a NTP client. So this is CA server. Configuration will remain same for all the clients. So now exactly 8:30 I have configured NTP. So I think so it would take you up to 9:30. Okay, 1 hour between 9:15 to 9:15 to 9:30 it would be synchronized. And how we would verify this? Show NTP status. And it's showing unsynchronized. Okay, so this should be synchronized. So now the concept is we have time zone concept here. Okay, so everybody knows if I'll talk about in the timing. Okay, so we have one universal time which is about 00 and all. This is about this is the universal time. So now we are in India. Let's consider. So in India, so we have the concept about the time concept as a about GMT, and we have 5:30. Okay, plus 5:30 we have this concept here. Okay, so this is our time zone. And if I'll talk about in US, okay, so in the US it's about -8. If I'll talk about in the US, okay, so what is the time zone? That is minus 08. This is, and this is the time. Okay, so what does it mean? Now see, actually, as per Universal Standard Timer, so the timing is right now, let's consider if you have to find out the time zone and all like time concepts. So you have to consider it from the Universal Timer, which is 000 and 0 here. After that, if you are in India, like let's consider India, so our time zone is plus 5:30. So whatever the time we have, that is a 5:30. After that, this is 8 o'clock. So this is the -8. So as you know, US is behind. Right now in India, we have early morning and right now it's 8:30. Okay. So first of all, right now in India, what is the timing? Time is exactly 8:30 here. So after that, we are plus 5:30 here. So do one thing, just do the minus 5:30 here. Then we would reach to the back universal timer. So that would be 0, 0, and 3. So this is 3 o'clock as per the universal standard timer. And after that, -8, then we would reach to the US timing. And if you would minus 8 here, so then it would be 12. And after that, 5. So that is approximately 7 p.m. in US. Nawaz, what is the timing there?
US, sir, 10 p.m.
This is the 10 p.m.
Yes, sir.
So that is okay. Sorry, we are in India for 8:30.
Yes.
Then we have to go back to the universal timer. That would be this is 10 p.m. 8 and 5:30. So this is 13 hours difference we have. So yeah, so this is approximately 13 hours because in US also we have different time zone because I don't know exactly in which time zone he is.
Yes,
Okay.
yes,
Because
yes, they
yeah,
have different time. Yes, like
yes,
Texas, they have 10 p.m. If you go
I,
California, they have 8 p.m.
exactly. So there's a different timings there. Okay. So as per that, so as per the Cisco's in exam, you have to use -8. Okay, because in US also there is a different time zones. So in Cisco exam, you guys have to configure always -8 there. So as per that, if we would count it, so in US right now the timing is approximately 7 p.m. over 7 p.m. or 7:30. Okay, because right now we are plus 5:30. We have to minus 5:30, then we would reach to the universal timer, and after that again -8 there. I'll take you to the my time slot here in this, and if I'll go to the date and timings, and if we have to configure, this is the time zone case. These are okay, these are the time zones. So right now, if I'll take you to the standard one, where is the standard? Standard is in between here. This is universal timer is the blame. This is this one UTC. UTC is what? Okay, so not this one. Yeah. This is the UTC here, coordinated universal timer. Okay, this is, and after this, you can see on the downside, all the plus are there. They are just ahead of that. And on the upper side, you can see all the minuses are there. So if you will go down and if you would check it, plus 5:30. Okay. So plus 5:30 is where? So plus 5:30 is in Chennai and Kolkata, and this is the another place. So this is we are in India here. Okay, Chennai, Kolkata, Mumbai, and New Delhi. This is the standard time zone for India. And if I'll go to the -8, and if I'll check it here, Pacific time, US and Canada. So this is about -8. Okay, so in exam, so in California, this is again -8, it's showing. Okay, Alaska, it's like again different -1. Hawaii is about 10. Okay, so they're just behind that. Okay, in India, we always talk, there's always like 12 to 13 hours difference in US timing and India timing. So this is the concept behind that because about the time zone. So in exam, why we have to use the -8? Because let's consider if you're writing the exam in the Bangalore. So the question is, Amit, why we are using the US standard time here? The reason you are sitting in Bangalore, that's fine. You are in the early morning or whatever, but you have taken the access from the US actually. Because in exam, you would get the RDP access, okay, and the rack would be from your US actually. So that's the reason. If you are using any devices in US US, so you have to use their standard timings, not in the Indian. So in exam, we have to verify this concept. Okay. Let's consider if you are right now, I'll teach you here to practice with 5:30 or whatever, it's up to you. But I'll suggest always try to practice as per the -8 only. The reason because if you would try to practice here as a plus 5:30, and in exam, obviously you have to go with the -8. So in exam, you cannot change it again and again. The reason because if for the ones, it's like it has to be synchronized NTP client and server. Let's consider you have configured 5:30 timing, but in exam, they have asked you -8. So it means, first of all, it took your 45 minutes to be synchronized. After that, you just realize, and then after that, you have checked it, no, I have configured it wrong, and I have to go with the -8 here. Okay, so again, you have to change the configuration. So then it will take again 45 minutes there, and it can take up to 60 minutes also. Okay, so you have to be very, very careful in NTP. So once you would get into the exam, actually for NTP, if I'll talk about, so this would be 20th plus task. Means the number, the sequence wise, it would be 20th or 21st task there. But in the exam, we have to perform it at first. Okay. The reason, because the reason is NTP synchronization takes time. Okay. And let's consider if you have to do it a CS server configuration. Okay. And now, first of all, in the CS server, first of all, you have to synchronize all the devices with NTP. But that process would take 45 to 60 minutes. But doesn't mean that I'll wait for the 45 to 60 minutes there. No, I do not have that much time. So what is the practice? As per the practice, you have to configure it first. Okay. And then you can continue with your other task. Okay. That would take another 45 to 50 minutes or 1 hour or 1.5 hours. And meanwhile, it would get synchronized. But you have to be very careful with NTP, because in case if you have configured something wrong, and after that, if you're doing any changes, so then you have to wait there for another 45 to 60 minutes. So NTP is one of the easiest tasks, but this is very tricky. One small mistake would cost you a lot. Okay. So this is the in the when, so as soon as we would get into the exam, okay, so we have to configure it first actually. Okay. So this is about NTP here. So this is, I had to teach you only this about -8 and plus 5:30. What exactly the meaning of this here? So later, so we have just an configuration there, NTP authentication, because once NTP would be synchronized, they would authenticate with itself. So just enable NTP authenticate. And in the client side, we have to define who's my NTP server, 150.1.1.100. This is my NTP server. And this is the one of the key ID, which we have to configure, which is the 12. You can use it anything, but in exam, they would give you 12. Because in the last version of CSI lab exam, in 6.1, in 6.0, also the key ID was 12. And in the 5.0 version, also key ID was 12. And even in the 4 also, it was 12 only. Okay. So just practice it with the 12. Otherwise, in exam, we have to check it with question paper, what exactly the key ID they're asking here. Okay. So this is on the client side, we have to define who's my NTP server. This is about 150.100. And then on NTP server, we have to just define NTP master here. So let's consider if this is NTP server and this is the NTP client, and they're connected to each other. And right now, if this IP is 150.1 and this is 150.100 and this is NTP server. Okay. So here I have to define it as a NTP master, because this is the command which make it as a NTP server. And here I have to define as a like who's my NTP server. What is the address? 150.1.1.100. So this is the command to make it as a client here. So here we don't have to define it as NTP master, because the moment if you would use NTP master command, okay, that would make that device as an NTP server. So do not use this command on all the routers here. So this is the command just for the NTP server. Okay. After that, so authentication concept we have, and that that trusted key and our key IDs concept, like a AGRP authentication and all, we have to configure on this. Okay, so main thing is what is important part here? The important part is you have to try to understand about the time zone. So universal timer is, this is the universal timer with a universal coordinate timer here. And this is right now I'm in India, so I'm in the GMT 530 plus. And if someone is in US, and depends in which like zone he is actually. So, but as per the Cisco's lab, okay, so you have to use -8 into that. So that you have to make sure. So this is, you cannot use as per your own. No, you have to look it into the NTP question, what exactly they have asked into the lab. Okay, guys. So this is about NTP. So now we have started its synchronization, and that would take time, but in between we would just check it. So right now we are at CS server, but still this is also like my NTP client. So just let me check it. Show NTP data. This is, so you can see clock is unsynchronized. Okay, so we have to wait for this. Now, meanwhile, I'll just take you to the one configuration part here. So that is CS server. So in the CS server, if I'll talk about the configuration, how it would start, the first command would be that would be trust point. We have to define server and then crypto PKI server. So we have to define it as a crypto PKI server. The name could be anything. Okay, let's consider I'll just use a CCI R1. Okay, this is the command. Actually, if I'll talk about in CS server, so we have two concepts. Okay, as per the configuration. So we have one concept, we have crypto PKI server, and second concept we have crypto PKI trust point. Crypto PKI trust point here. Trust point defines about, and then let's consider this is R2, or you can say as a client 1. Okay, so this is the configuration. One second, note here. Crypto PKI trust point. Okay, client 1. This is about CA client. This configuration is for the CA server, and this is for the CA client we have. Okay, so see, this is CA server and this is CA client. So guys, how to define it as per the configuration perspective? In the configuration perspective, we have to define it as server, and this one we have to define as a trust point. Actually, we have three concepts on the client side. Okay, if I'll talk about on the client side in the configuration, one we have trust point, which means this is, I'm defining it as a CA client. The three keywords we have. Then we have authenticate, means now download a public key from CA server. Okay, and after that we have concept about enroll. So now download the certificate from CA server. In the commands, when I'll start the configuration here, okay, I have to use these three terminologies there. One is define it as a trust point, authenticate, authentication, not authentication, this is authenticate, and then we have enroll. So these are the three main words, you can say technical word, which we have to use it here. Guys, do you remember the concept about the public key in CS server? I hope everybody's remember that.
Yes, sir.
What is the use of public key in the CS server? Who would explain? Yes, guys, who will explain? What is the use of public key in CS server? You can write it on in your chat box if you do not want to. Public key for decryption. Exactly. So see, the key would be for the decryption of the certificate. Okay, means what does it mean? So see, we would have like CS server. Let's consider we have a CS server here. This is CS server. This is CA client. This is again CA client here. Okay. Now, so the CA server has a two concept. One, it has a private key. It has a private key. Let's consider 1, 2, 3. And it has a public key, which is ABC here. This is the certificate one, which is going to be released to the site A, to the client A. This is the first certificate would be released for himself. Next certificate is for this, and next for this here. So these certificates would be encrypted with its private key. Okay, and after that, once the certificate would reach to the destinations, okay, means to CA clients, and once they would start the communication there, so both the sides would use these certificates to just identify or to authenticate themselves with each other. So that time these devices would use the public key of the CS server to decrypt the packets, because these are the what into the encrypted format here. Okay, so once we would exchange it here, so after that, what happened? They would just use it to decrypt that like encrypted certificate, which is released by the CA server. So that's the reason we need like keys here. Okay, so for that, what is the process? Authentication would be the process. So during the configuration, I'll show you. Okay. And along with that, if I'll talk about in Google Chrome and browser, so we have predefined trusted keys. Okay, that is itself as a what? Your public key here. So guys, here, if I'll talk about in CS server, what is the configuration? I'll show you 2 or 3 commands. Crypto PKI server. Before PKI server, we have to make sure that we have to define CS server as a HTTP server. The reason, because when we have to download, because we have to download the certificate from the client, from the server on the client here. So how the server would send, so how the client would send its request to the CS server for the certificate. Because see, in this topology, if I'll show you, clients need a certificate. So how it would send a request to that. So this is request for certificate. You kindly give me your certificate. So this request would be based on HTTP. Okay, HTTPS, and after that 150, whatever the IP is, 115.1.1.1. So this is the request. Okay, so this is for HTTP and HTTPS here. So we have to make sure that on this site, on this server, HTTP must be enabled. Okay, so this side, this server, we have to configure as a HTTP server here. Because in case if HTTP is not configured on this and you are sending HTTP request from here, so this router won't be able to understand what exactly the client is requesting, because he won't be able to read HTTP into that. So that's the reason, first of all, on the client side, we have to make it, there should be HTTP server enabled. Okay, so this is not the command here. We have command IP HTTP server. This is the command for the same. Then we have to generate one key here. Okay, So a crypto key generate RSA label, let's consider Cisco and modulus 1024. After that, we have to define it crypto PKI server. Let's consider the name is just a CS server, okay, or whatever. After that, I have to define database complete. I'll explain what is this. Grant auto, okay. This is the command, and then we have to define it a no shutdown. I'll explain about the no. So what is the meaning of database complete? Database complete means, you see, when a client would share its detail, because the client has to request, because let's consider this is CA client. This is CA client, this is CA server, and it would request for a certificate. Okay, so now this is a CA client, and this is CA server. Now, so it would request, this is request for certificate. Certificate with HTTP. Or it could be HTTPS. Okay, so it would request here. So when it would request, it would share its own details. Own details means this is the client information. See, if you need an Aadhaar card, PAN card or something, you have to submit your documents. So that document is equal to what? That is your information. So same here, we have to, or the client has to share its own information. Actually that information can like in that there is a lot of information about that, but which is the important 2 or 3 concepts we have. The first one is the host name, the serial number of router. This is kind of optional. I'll show you what is the meaning of optional there. Host name, this is here. Then along with that IP address of a router. Okay, so these are the 3 main and important thing which client has to be shared with the CA server. So on the CA server, I have to define here now the command database complete. Okay, it means, what does it mean? It means that CA server has to maintain a database, okay, where he would like you can say where it would keep all the client information. Okay, so in that database, the complete information of router we have to keep it. We have an option key, we will just keep a router host name only. That's it. Or there would be option, no, you can just keep it in a router serial number information. No, or just keep it a router IP address only. Okay, so we have different options there. Complete means no, you have to keep all information into your database. Okay, so in future, if we have to check it to the on the CA server, the CA server has like if I like as a network administrator, I want to check it out. Key or like this CA server, like to how many devices this CA server has released the certificate. So how I'll check it out? I'll check it out in the database. Because this is client 1 requested for the certificate. Let's consider requested and released. Certificate released. Along with that, it would keep into the it's a database. Okay, now this is the information about client 1. Second device has requested, and then it would release it. So this is the client 2, and then again this is the information about the client 2. So CA server would maintain the information of all the clients into its database. So the question is, what kind of information? So if you are mentioning it's complete, so complete means all the information of the client, or else instead of complete, I can just maintain its serial number of information. We can keep it only IP address of the device, or we can just keep the host name of the devices. So that is your wish. But in exam, we have to keep complete information. Okay, so this is the one thing. After that, we have to define grant auto here. We have to define what? Grant auto. What does it mean? Grant auto means when a client would request to the certificate ki, hey, I need a certificate. Could you provide me one CSR, like one certificate there? So we have two options as a network administrator. Okay, anyone, like this is my CS server and anybody can request for the certificate here. But the concept is I'm going to be request would be received on the client on the CS server, but I'm only the responsible for that. Responsible for mean that if I will only approve it, then only my CS server would release the certificate, or else without my approval, CS server won't be able to release any kind of certificate to the client here. So the CS server has to wait for my approval. Okay, are you getting my point? The CS server has to wait for my approval. So in that scenario, that is one of the manual concept. But in my company, let's consider I have 10, 15 devices and I'm the only network admin. So I do not want any kind of approval and all. So what I'll do, I'll configure here grant auto. Grant auto means if some and if is there any client and requesting for the certificate, so just without my approval, release the certificate to that device. Because might be I'll be busy with some other task and all, and might be I'll be not able to approve that request on time. Okay, so then this device won't get any certificate and then won't be able to establish any further VPN there. So everything would be on the hold. So that's the reason. Okay, so we have the concept or there. Okay, or it depends. Okay, I have enabled what? Your grant auto here. So grant auto means what? It would be release the certificate to the client like automatically. It won't wait for any kind of confirmation. Okay. After that, the last concept is here, issuer name. Issuer name means who's going to be released the certificate here. So see, as you know, if you have any certificate, obviously we have so many certifications and all. Let's consider if I'll talk about the college degree. On the college degree, what will be there? First of all, your university or the college name would be there. Okay. After that, your information, your name and all those kind of informations. And after that, there would be one stamp from the college and all, right? So that is what? That is issuer details. So now it depends on the college, what kind of their information they want to keep it on the certificate here. So the same concept we have here. When this is on CS server, guys. Yeah, this is on CS server. When when a CS server would release the certificate towards client, what kind of server information we have to keep it on the certificate here. So we have the concept about we can use issuer name. Let's consider for example, CA server 1. Let's consider. After that, which department or which the company name. After that, we have to define it unit. We can define city as well. We can define then country also. So many information we can keep it out here. So what kind of information I'll just show you here. I'll take you to this and let's consider here. Connection is secure certificate. And if you can see here, issued by what? So this is the information about what issue. So now on the CS server, we have to define what kind of information we will just want to keep it on the certificate here. So this is that information. So who has released this certificate? DGCRT, TLS RSA, and what is the organization? DGCRT Corporation, and after that organization unit, not the part of the certificate. That's fine. If you do not want to keep this information here, that's fine. Issued to whom? It has like released to the Zoom Video Communication Corporation and organization unit. It's this one. So CS server, we have to define this information. Okay, this is issued by. So on CS server, we have one command and there we have to define issuer name. But on the another side, on the daily side, we have the concept about subject name. So what is the meaning of subject name? Subject main name means this information. So this is on client side. Okay, and this concept is known as subject name. This is on server side. Okay, this, what is the command for that? Issue. Who's going to be? Yes, guys, is this clear? Okay, so these are the 2 to 3 commands which is very important here. Okay, so one is on the client on the CS server side. Okay, I'll just copy and paste the configuration of CS server. Only 3-4 commands we have, not that much. If I'll talk about on the CS server side. This is, as you know, why to use, just to, this is like just enable HTTP here, HTTP service. This is to define, this is again the part of the same process. This is we have generated keys. This is the first PKI crypto server. This is means what? Now this is means configure or enabled. It means enabled here CA server. In case instead of the PKI server, if you're using a trust point would define your trust point means what? That is client. Database complete will keep the like complete information. Okay, the complete information, okay, of CA client. It is the database level complete. Grant Auto will release the certificate to client without my approval. Okay, so this is the information. This is the like now CA server info on certificate. This is like now it means what? We are just log the CA server. Okay, so after this is log the CA server. Log the CA server means what? If you have used no shutdown command, so means we have logged the CA server, means now you cannot modify or you cannot do any changes into your CA server. Let's consider, for example, if common name, I have mentioned R1 and let's consider by mistake you have to keep it like this. By mistake you have made it R1, but now you want to make it as a R2 something. Let's consider. So how to do the changes? Because see, until and unless you will not use a no shut, like you will not use a no shutdown command. Okay, it means your CA server is not enabled. That is still kind of in disabled state, or you can say that is still not locked actually. So we have to lock the CS server, and after once you would make your server a lock, server is locked now, no changes, and now CS server is active. You want to do any changes, you have to unlock with the help of the shutdown command. Then you have to make the changes, and again you have to make it no shut. So lock and unlock concept we have. Lock with the help of no shutdown command and unlock with the help of shutdown command. During practical, I'll show you all this information. And this is on the client side. This is the key. Where is my CA server? So here I have to define on the CA client, I have to define who's my CA server. Here we have to define who is my CA server. My CA server is 15.1.1.1.1.1. How to register which interface? Z0. So which interface we have to use it? 0/1. What is the issue? Like what is the like subject information? Means what kind of information, your information you want to keep it on the certificate. Let's consider if you need a certificate from the network or song of completion of your CSAT training or Palo Alto or whatever. So we always ask you kindly share your details on an email with your full name. So full name is what? That is your subject name actually. Okay, that information we want to keep it on your certificate. So that kind of information we have to share. That's it. So this is only about the configuration here. So now I'm just waiting for this NTP to be synchronized. Okay, show NTP status. Oh, nice. Clock is synchronized here. Nice, it's great. It's synchronized. Show NTP. Status. This is also synchronized. Nice. But it can take some time up to 45 to 60 minutes. Show NTP status. So no need to be surprised, okay, if it's taking too much time. Okay. So, but still it's right now it's 9:06. So almost it took 35 minutes, guys. Okay, 35 to 36 minutes. So same, I just told you it can take up to 45 to 60 minutes. So now it's got synchronized. Everything is fine. So now we have to start with the configuration on CA server first of all. So this is my CA server. Okay. Show crypto PKI server. Cannot find certificate server because we haven't configured it yet here. Okay. So now we have to start with its configuration. So guys, shall I start with configuration or you have any doubt, any questions? Anyone? Yes, guys. Any doubt, any questions, anyone? All clear? Okay, fine. Public key infrastructure, Santosh. Okay. Now, IP HTTP server. Okay. So then we have to define IP domain name cisco.com crypto key generate RSA label. Okay. So label could be anything, but still I'll just check it out here. Okay, label, and let's consider this is router 1 modulus 1.24, or instead of out router 1, I'll use here CA server. That's fine. Now, crypto PKI server. So this is CA server. I have defined. Now, defined here database level complete. First of all, second, grant auto, issuer name. What is the issuer name here? So now see, even I have defined a grant auto. So immediately we have a notification here. Grant auto, all enrollment request will be automatically granted. No need to wait for the administrator approval here. Okay. So issuer name is what? Who is going to be released it? Any name you can mention it. Let's consider I'll mention there NH server. What name I have used there? And okay. So some common name. CN means common name. What is that? NHCA server. What is the unit? Unit means that is first organization. That is NH class. Unit is equal to training. City is equal to Bangalore. Okay. And after that, country is equal to India. So this is the information. Okay, so all this information, it's up to you what kind of information you wanted. So this is the information what I have mentioned right now. Okay, grant auto, I have done it. And right now just use the command no shut. Okay, and just done. So some server setting cannot be changed after C server generation. Please enter a password. Right now, when I'm trying to lock this server, it's asking for the password. So it's up to you. If you want to configure any password, you can, or else just enter password aborted. No, we have to use a password. It means let's consider I'm using a password. Panda at 123. Panda at 123. So one password I have configured. Certificate enabled. What is the password I have enabled, guys? The password on CS server I have used. Okay, the diagram is not there, but I'll just mention here the password I have configured. Panda at 123. Okay, and now you can see the certificate server is now enabled. And how would you check it? Show crypto PKI server. Earlier we have seen, before that, I hope you remember, okay? Before that we have seen it, that it was not, it was cannot find CS certificate. The same command I'm using now, and now I have all the information. So what is the status? The status is enabled. Okay, the state is enabled. The server configuration is locked now. So if you want, if you have to do any changes in the configuration, let's consider in this command, you want to make some changes over here. Where is the no, 1 second. Here, you have configured the wrong name of your organization. You have to edit the information. So for that, you have to unlock it. And what is the command? It's asking enter shutdown command to unlock it here. Because if your server is into the lock state here, you won't be able to configure anything related to the CA server. So for that, you have to unlock it first. Okay, guys, the concept about lock and unlock is clear or not?
Yes, sir.
Okay. After that, issue name. These are the information which we have mentioned here. There's a certificate fingerprint and all. What is the grant mode? Is auto. Last certificate issued serial number 1 here. So one certificate this device or the CS server has already released for himself. The first certificate is for himself always. Okay. So show crypto PKI certificates. So this is the certificate which the CS server has released to himself. Okay. So CS certificate state is what? Available. Now certificate serial number is 01. Last certificate issued by the server. What is the serial number 1? And right now, as a client, I'm checking the certificate for myself. What is its serial number? It's 1. Issuer who has released it, and its server, organization, unit, and this. But right now, okay, because right now I'm checking it's on the same device, which is CS server. So that's the reason here. The issue and the subject name is same, which is common. Okay, but once now we would move to the client, so there issue and the subject name, issuer name and the subject name, that would be different. Validity date is what? This is it started on this date and it would be end over the this date. So this is by default valid for the 3 years. Okay, so this is the valid for the how many years? This would be valid for the 3 years. So from the CS server perspective, my configuration and everything is done. So now we have to get into the client, and this is my client 1. Oh, sorry, let it be just once, let it be finished. So now we have to start with the CA client here. So as for the client domain name, we have to generate a key and all. Okay. So just let it be. Let it be done, guys. It will take another just 30 to 40 seconds. So CA server is easy. Just you you have to be very good in your theoretical concept, which is about the last class we have covered. Okay. So if you know the concept, so this is very easy to configure it. Now, so first of all, define an IP domain name as a cisco.com or crypto key, generate RSA label. Label is Delhi R1. Because this client, I'll consider this is in Delhi. Okay, or just in Delhi only, I'll just mention it. Okay, modulus 1 node. So this with the same name itself, I have generated the key. It would be easy for me then. Okay. Now, crypto PKI, instead of server, I have to make it what? Trust point here. What is the name? Just name, I'll just mention again, Delhi only, I'll mention. So, okay, what are the IP address of my CS server? What is the command? IP address, IP address. IP address is what? IP address is 15.1.1.1.1 here. But before that, just try to ping with your 15.1.1.1. Do you have reachability or not? Yes, I do have reachability. Then define your source interface. Which interface case? 00/1 here. So just let me define here 00/1. Subject name. What is common name? Common name is NH Delhi. This is the one of the NH branch only networkers home, but which is in Delhi. Okay. I'll just mention NH Delhi here. Organization name is, that is again NH. Class unit is about training. This then about city, that is about Delhi now. Okay. And country, which is in India. This is. So this is what? Subject name. Make sure don't be confused in this because this is the same kind of information. So you have to make sure that the issuer detail would be on the CS server and subject name information is always on the client side. Okay. So source interface I have defined. I have defined this one. Okay. What else now? And one enrollment only. So one is RSA key. We have to define here what are the key I'm going to be used. Delhi, which is I have generated. Enrollment with URL HTTP 15.1.1.1. That's it. Okay. .20.1. I think I have done. Okay, guys, just one mistake I have done in the configuration. Sorry for that. So I'll just take you back this information. This is my information. This is my information. IP address is mine, 20.1.1. I think I have configured to show IP interface 20.2. So this is my address information. This is not the CSR. That is 20.1.1.2. That's it. What is the meaning of this command? If you have to get the certificate, you have to use this command here because you remember, just copy and I'll just paste it out here. Okay. So this is means this concept is how we will send the certificate request to CA. So how? With the help of HTTP. That's the reason as CA server, I have used this command. You remember, this is what we have enabled. What we have enabled? HTTP. So, guys, this is how they're related to each other. This concept is clear or not? This one. This is important here. Enrollment concept. Yes, guys, is this clear or not? Yes, guys, is this clear or not? Only one reply. What about others? I hope everyone is there. Okay. So after this, I have just configured it now. This is take an exit from here. Now download the public key. So public key means I have to authenticate myself. It means what? I have to authenticate crypto PKI. Authenticate. Authenticate would want. So now I have to use here Delhi. Do you accept the certificate? Yes, this is the key. This is the this is kind of what this is. Kind of public key here. Type a yes. Trusted certificate. This is the trust point. Trust point is what? Your keys here. And now crypto PKI enroll Delhi. This is the final command to download the certificate. PKI enroll and just enter it. Start enrollment. This is enrollment process which we have started. When you would request to a CA server for the certificate, that process itself is known as enrollment process here. If you want to configure any password, you can, or else just press enter. It's asking, include the router serial number in the subject name. Do you want to mention its serial number? I'll just, yes, I do want. Request certificate from CA. Yes, we have requested. Certificate we have sent. Certificate received from the certificate authority. And now see, in between it's asked me the subject name in the certificate will include it, because this is my information which I'm sending, because this is what final, I'm just doing the enrollment here. So this is my information which we are sending towards the CS server. After that, they have asked, do you want to add a serial number also into that? I have mentioned, yes, kindly add my serial number information also, because this is the information what I'm sending it to the CA server. So the serial number in the certificate will be, this is the CA's serial number of my device. This is the what? Serial number of my device here. Okay. And this is the IP address of the device. And this is we have requested. And now we have certificate. And then how would you check it? Show crypto PKI certificate here. Serial number 2. Why, guys? Where is the serial number 1? I hope you remember in the starting, this device has released certificate number 1 for himself. And now certificate number 2 is for this device. So this is, you can see, the status is available right now. The certificate serial number is like, this is serial number 2. Users is general purpose. Who has released the certificate? NHCS server from the Bangalore. BRL I have mentioned. And what is the subject name? Client1.cisco.com, the name of the certificate here. The client one is what? The host name of my client. IP address, we have only mentioned. Serial number, intentionally we have added. This is the other information of that. This is a common name, NH Delhi organization. Validity date is for the 1 year. So now here it has been released for the 1 year. So in this we have seen when a CS server has released the first certificate for himself, the validity for that certificate was the 3 years. But now, as you can see, the CS server has released the certificate to the client one, and which validity is just for a year actually. Okay, so I hope you can see that. Okay, so this is the certificate information. This is present here. Who has released it? The release is what? NHCS server. This is information here. This is all the informations and all. And so this is CS certificate. This is certificate of what? Certificate of your first branch. Same now. Let's get back to the client 2. This is the client 2 IP domain name cisco.com. Crypto key just generate RSA label. I'll use here Pune modulus 1.24. Crypto PKI trust point for the Pune here. IP address. What is my IP address? 30.1.1.3. IP address is 30.1.1.3 here. The subject name, the common name is about NH, and city is about Pune, country is again India. Only this information, that's fine. Okay, that is not mandatory. We have to mention all the information and all. So this information is sufficient from here. After that, enrollment with the help of URL. We can use other options also. We have like URL, terminal, and all these kind of concepts, but we use what? URL here. So this is the enrollment URL, which is the part of the syllabus, and then we have HTTP and 15.1.1.1.1. So I have defined IP address. I think I have defined IP address. This is fine. This is information. One is RSA key pair, which is again the Pune. I'm going to be use here. What else? IP address I have defined. Source is needed here. Okay, so which interface? 0/1. Source interface 0/. Crypto PKI. Instead of server, no need of use server, no trust point. Now authenticate about Pune. Yes, downloaded the key, and now instead of authenticate, you have to use and not needed. Certificate is required. Request sent, and now we would receive the certificate. Receive the certificate from the CA. So crypto PKI certificate serial number. Okay, guys, that's it. So we have certificate on both the sides. Now what I'll do, I'll configure crypto as a CAM policy 10, encryption 3-, group 2, and hashing MD5. Okay, and then authentication RSA signature. This is, let me just go back here. The client 1. RSA signature. Guys, method I have defined PK this time. Okay, now do you think now, do we need any other key? Guys, now tell me, do we need this key command now? Crypto as a camp key Cisco address. Guys, do we need this command? Yes or no? I'm expecting the answer from all. Why this command is not needed? Yes, Santosh, only you're replying. What about other guys? Are you there or not?
Yes, sir.
Yes, guys. Why this is not required? Because we are using an authentication as a PKI here. Exactly. Okay. So after this, directly reach to the crypto IPsec. Then transform set name is tsat esp3 dash, then esp md5. Crypto map name is imap. Then IPsec Isaac camp. Set peer. Who's the peer? Guess who's the peer as per this? For this site, my peer is 30.1.1.3. 30.1.1.3. Set transform set. That is T set. And okay, I have a match address. What is the address there? 101. I haven't defined ACL. I'll define it now. Just let me finish this part. And after that, 0/1 crypto map, IMAP here. Because we have a loop back, we haven't defined the loop back here. So we have to go back here and I have to define the loop backs. As you know, client 1, interface loop back 0, IP address 10.1.1.1/24. Interface loop back 0, IP address 10.2.2.2/24. So here one access list would be needed. Ten dot 1.1.1.0 wildcard mask 10.2.2.0 wildcard mask. Okay. So just let me copy and paste it on what? Paste it on the client as a camp on. And for the another side, we have to make sure this is 20.1.1.2. Okay. This time, this would be the source. Okay. Copy. The problem with access list 101 permit IP 10.2.2.0 wildcard mask. That's fine. All good. And now just try to ping. Just check the reachability here. Do we have reachability or not? That is the only thing that you have to check it out here. 2.2.2, this is 2.2.2, and this is about the 1.1.1.1. Try it, please. Brief. I'm able to ping from client 1 to client 2. Show crypto IPsec SC. Packets are getting. Okay, guys. So you can see I'm able to ping what? I'm able to ping between. This is the ping to from client 1. I'm trying to ping to the loopback of the second device, and this is also what? 10.1.1.1. So this is I'm able to ping. But this time, instead of using PSK, what I'm using? I'm using PKI. Yes, guys, is this clear or not? So we are done with this lab. Yes, guys. Anyone, any doubt, any questions into the same? Yes, guys. Yes, please. Any doubt, any questions? Anyone? Yeah, Anu, Benita, Hema, iPhone. Whose iPhone? Karthik, Muhammad.
Yes, clear, sir.
Clear? Guys, just you have to practice, because if you will not practice this, so then it would be a bit difficult for you. Okay. So this is just this is one of the easiest tasks actually in the lab exam. Okay, what I think, because okay, this is one of the easiest tasks. Okay. So now what we are going to be doing the next class, what is my target for the tomorrow? Tomorrow I'll start with SSL. At least try tomorrow, I'll try to finish it SSL handshake with certificate. Okay, or you can say with PKI. Okay, so tomorrow, guys, in the upcoming classes, I'll talk about the certificate. So that time you have to keep this thing in the mind from where we have received that certificate. So that certificate is from the CA server. So right now, as for the lab exam, we have to define a Cisco router as a CA server. But if I talk about in the corporates, in the organized, in the real world, okay. So who are those CA servers? DGCRT, GoDaddy, Microsoft, okay. So these are the bigger organizations who would act as a CA server there. Okay. So guys, I'm done from my side. If you have any doubt, if you have any questions, you just ask.
Sir,
Anyone? Yes, please.
we use this command RSA keeper. So this is applied when sir?
Which key or which command you're talking about?
RSA keeper.
RSA key pair means when we are requesting, okay, to the certificates, and also then we are talking about the keys. Okay, we are requesting for the keys from there. So this is the command for that.
So can you repeat it again, sir? I didn't get.
See what happened. When we are 1 second. What is the meaning of this command? Could you tell me? Then I hope this would be clear to you. It would be easy for you then.
Key generation, sir. Asymmetric key. Public key, private key will be generated.
Exactly. So what is there? When we are sending our information to the CA server, when we are sending our information to the CA server, that is encrypted with the help of private key of the client one. Okay. So then server also need to decrypt that information, correct or not?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So that is the RSA key pair, means we are sending our key to whom? To the CA server.
Yes, sir. Got it.
Public. Okay, key. This is the information, and this is my key with my information also already encrypted with my private, and this is my public key. And now you can just take care of that part. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So guys, all other guys, I hope all clear. So shall I close the meeting? All done? Yes, guys. Shall I close the meeting then?
Yes,
All
sir.
clear? Okay. So then see you tomorrow, guys. Bye-bye. Take care. Have a
Thank you.
nice day. Thank you.
Bye.